Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's now 3. I want to propose that we start our launch program. I can see 26 participants already in, and probably others are joining in. So I wish that we start. We have a program that we have to follow. I therefore wish to ask one of our own, Nancy Akulo, to lead us in a word of prayer, and then we can start. Hello, Nancy.
Mr. Nema, I'm getting Nancy on to speak in a minute.
All right. I'm patient for prayer. Prayer is everything.
All right.
Come and say the prayer. Come.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, I had challenges connecting from my side, but let's humble ourselves for a prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and we thank you for this time. We thank you so much for your protection. We thank you for safety. We thank you for providing for us and our families. And Father, we thank you for this day and for this particular event. Father, we commit into your hands all the students that applied and have been awarded the scholarships. Lord, we commit their studies before you and we pray that you will go before them, give them the wisdom, strength, and commitment to complete their studies and excel. And Father, we pray that they will become ambassadors of the CPA profession in Uganda and even beyond. Lord, we commit the rest of this function before your hands and we pray for a successful ceremony. In Jesus' name we have prayed.
Amen. Thank you, Nancy. Mr. President and participants, I wish to welcome all of you to this launch of the second cohort of our scholarships. I want to say that as the Institute, we are very delighted and so happy to be having a second group of students qualifying for this scholarship scheme. I want to thank everybody who got involved in this entire process, right from the applicants themselves, those who are successful, the people who did the evaluation, and all the people who are into this meeting this afternoon. It's been a journey. It started way back in June, but I'm glad that we are coming to the beginning, the real beginning being commencement of studies for those students who qualified. Mr. President, I should also let you know that these students have been duly informed. They are aware of their obligations, but we will not stop at that. We will continue to encourage them, to inform them, to hold them, to give them all the guidance they need in pursuing CPA course. As you know, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. They have done their one step. We are now looking forward to the second step, where they must embark on their studies. For all of us who are in this webinar, we have a Q&A. If you have a quick question, please post it there. If you have anything that you wish us to know or to discuss, please post it. We shall, towards the end, have a Q&A. If you have very good questions, please reserve them. I want and I wish this to take us 1 hour. And I'm intending to do it as professionally as accountants are professional. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nancy, for the prayer. I want to call upon the Secretary, JB Ntangare, to give us a welcome and introductory remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Godfrey. The president.
JB, you are muted. John, you are muted.
Okay, thank you. I thought I had unmuted. Okay, I can repeat. President, members of the press, representatives of tuition providers, the students, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you greetings from the CEO, CPA Derek Nkacha. He would have loved to be with us this afternoon, but he got an engagement and couldn't be here. So on his behalf, I would like to congratulate the 10 students who emerged out of the 187 applicants for this scholarship. As mentioned by the Director of Ceremonies, this is our second cohort. The first one was launched in 2020. They should have made a lot of progress, but we had COVID impacting our exams. So they had only one exam session for the whole of 2020. But I think the second cohort, you are very lucky. You are coming at a time when the COVID-19 restrictions are being relaxed. For the benefit of the students, I want to inform you that the Institute was established way back in 1992 by an act of parliament, and we have two major functions: to regulate and maintain the standard of accountants in Uganda, then to prescribe and regulate the conduct of accountants and practicing accountants in Uganda. Now, on the first one, regulating and maintaining the standard of accountants in Uganda, that is where this function falls. We are producing accountants that will maintain the standard of accountancy in Uganda. And you, the 10, have now started this journey of training to become professional accountants. And I must say, I know you competed, but you are also very lucky to emerge the most eligible for the ICPA-U scholarship. This scholarship will cover your registration fees, your exemption and exemption fees, examination fees, your annual subscription, and then the ICPA-U study materials. So you will meet other costs, which include National Council for Education, which will include your tuition, your transport, maybe the writing materials. Those ones will be covered by you and your parents. But we are covering a bigger portion. And once you complete, then you will be part of the many accountants in this country. We expect you to complete this course within 2.5 years, where people have actually completed it under 2 years. We have 3 sittings. Normally, we have 3 sittings in a year, which is May, August, and December. However, for this year, because of COVID, we have 4 sittings. So given those settings, we would like you to plan and complete the CPA course within the 2.5 years. We have somebody who did it under 2 years. You are the most brilliant because you either have a first-class degree or a second upper-class degree. So we know you have the competence to complete this course in the shortest time. But you have to plan. Look at it. Look at the syllabus structure. Plan and see how many papers you will be sitting time and see how long it will take you. And I should note that if you fail any paper, the institute will not meet any cost of resitting. We are choosing the best, and we expect the best to be the best on this CPA course. So we expect you to pass on first sitting. You will look out for the tutors. We have tutors on this platform. We have a number of recognized training institutions, 16 of them. They are on our website. Look at them if you want to study. Go to a recognized tuition provider so that you can get value for your money and you will stand the best chance of passing. And should you, in the course of doing your CPA, get employment, ensure that you record your experience. Once you enter into the students portal, there is what we call PET, or practical experience training. So that experience training, that PET is important, because once you complete the course and you want to become a member of the institute, you need to prove that you have 3 years of practical experience. But the moment you don't record, then you will be struggling at the end. So if you do it now, you will save yourself trouble, you will save yourself a lot of hassling. When you run without a cause, when the cause comes, you are ahead. So I encourage you, if you get employment, make sure you record your practical experience training. We are strategic partners in this. Although we are sponsoring you, we are partners. You are part of the ICPAU family. So should you find any challenge, come and get professional advice from the institute. The engagement team is available for you, but should they not be able to handle some issues, we have the education team. They should be able to support you so that you can complete your course within the shortest time possible. With those remarks, I once again want to congratulate you and wish you a very successful accountancy journey. Thank you very much. Over to you, Godfrey.
Thank you, Mr. John Bosco Ntangare, CEO of the Institute. I wish to, it's not my habit to repeat what has been said, but I want to pick out a few issues for purposes of the people who have received the scholarship, and it will not take me long. One, and I will call this, have you heard? Have you heard what has been said? One is that your scholarship covers registration fees, examinations fees, exemption fees, annual renewal fees, and study materials. And like the CEO said, that forms the bulk of the money you need to do this course. What you need to cover on your own is tuition, National Council for Higher Education fees, your transport, your writing materials, and maybe a little money to buy a cup of tea when you've gone to school. He further said this course is supposed to cover 2.5 years, beyond which, if you have not completed, then you pay for yourself. So you really must be committed, since you are very brilliant students. If you fail any paper along the course, then you pay for yourself. And he talked about PET, practical experience training. Begin recording your training as soon as you get the job. Thank you, JB. And thank you, everybody who is participating. I haven't seen any Q&A, but let them start flowing and we begin rearranging them. Thank you so much. Our next speaker is going to be Stephen Mucherule. Stephen works with the Statewide Insurance Company Limited. And Stephen is one of those students who did his course in 2.5 years. We thought that Stephen would inspire you with a presentation. Can I welcome Stephen to address the participants this afternoon? Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Godfrey. Good evening, members. Godfrey, kindly permit me to share the screen.
Stephen, you can go on and share the screen.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Godfrey, for the kind introduction and the kind words. When I was approached by Godfrey that you have this program, and I was informed that I'm going to be giving a keynote address, I thought to myself that probably I should talk to you particularly on how to complete the CPA course within the required time as it has been mentioned. I want to draw your attention to the picture over there. That is the gentleman who is crossing a rift, and if you can observe, he's actually crossing it with one step. But there are other alternatives where you can cross by moving the other side of the land, and then you arrive at the destination. So I want to echo, like the previous speaker has said, CPA, you can actually pursue and complete it in the shortest time possible. Everybody is eligible. How can you do this? Please, I encourage you to create a mentor within yourself. You need to define the intents for pursuing this course. Of course, I want to join the rest of the team to congratulate you for coming up from the many and getting selected. Congratulations, you have now arrived to the second stage, and that is pursuing or studying and completing the course. I know you may be aware of the reasons why you have chosen, but let me emphasize, you need to understand the reason why you have selected the course. You know, in life, it is made up of imaginations which come true. Completion of the CPA course is one of the channels leading you to becoming a professional accountant. And there is no any other alternative in Uganda. For you to be a professional accountant, you must be a member of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda. The Institute obtains the mandate from the Accountants Act of 2013. On that note, you need to prepare yourself how you are going to manage this course in terms of study. The predecessor speaker has already commented on the tuition providers, but then you may come up with a study strategy as a student, and please, when you have decided on the strategy, you need to stick on it. I have heard the institute is going to provide the study materials. That is a blessing in disguise. Some of us, we didn't get such an opportunity, but you need to exploit the opportunity which is before you. You have the material before you. Evaluate yourself. How much time can you dedicate to it, to revise, to read, to understand, and then to prepare for the exams? You may decide to do personal reading. You may decide to go to a teaching institution for full-time study. You may choose to go to a teaching institution for revision purposes after your personal study. So you need to evaluate your capacities. But like I said earlier, we are all eligible for success. You need, every morning when you wake up, you need to understand why you started the course and find something to motivate you on a daily basis. At the time of starting this course, on my part, I was already working and I was the accounts assistant. So being the accounts assistant, one of the motivators, I wanted to upgrade, to go to the next level. And since it was clear in our company, once you added on a qualification, particularly a professional qualification, it had implications on your salary. So that could be a motivator when you are working. Probably you are not working. It still can be a motivator that since I'm not working, when I finish this course, I'm going to get a job. Let that motivate you on a daily basis. Take yourself as if one who's not working, probably you do not have the adequate requirements. Imagine yourself that when I finish the course, I have a ready job for me. And indeed, CPA course gives you a lot of opportunities out there. The other comment that I want to make is you need to avoid pessimistic stereotypes. You are going to be studying in a society, interacting with your colleagues, peers, and people probably who started and dropped out of the course. Like I said earlier, you need to define your objectives, why you have chosen the course, and then you need to define your study strategy. You stick to it. So you need to avoid any form of stereotype that intends to set you back, to discourage you. You need to avoid it. Sometimes it is out of inadequate planning for revision purposes. For instance, if you are not working, why should one sleep for more than 8 hours when you are preparing for the exam? You can dedicate yourself maybe 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 hours on a daily basis on studying the subject. You need to understand the course content. That is very key. The course at the moment is comprised of 18 papers. The 18 papers are clustered into 4 levels. Level 1 being the knowledge level, level 2 being the skills level, level 3 the professional level, and then level 4 it is the expertise level, where one demonstrates the synthesis of knowledge, of information, and the skills acquired, and be able to provide the business to provide business solutions to business problems. So at the start, you need to understand at what level am I. If it is at the knowledge level, you need to understand the examiner's requirements. How many papers are on the level? Plan. Have you gotten any exemptions? If you have not gotten the exemptions, you imagine how many sittings are in the year. Allocate the papers. Can you be able to sit in 2 sittings and you complete the level? Or you can actually sit all of them in a sitting and you complete. So you need to plan that early enough. How do you do that? Obtain the course syllabus before you engage on any study process. Like I hinted on earlier, for every subject you are going to be registering, you need to take yourself with the syllabus and understand the content in there early enough. Most times, students tend to start on the course or on the particular subject even without understanding the topics to be covered in there. So as one of the first prerequisites, you need to understand the content of the entire subject you are intending to register. And besides the content, you need to also appreciate the learning outcomes for each paper. Each paper from paper 1 to paper 18 is comprised of the learning outcomes. So, as in pursuit for success in completing this course within the shortest time possible, this can be one of the strategies for you to take advantage of and finish the syllabus early enough and also acquire the knowledge. Now, having understood the learning outcomes, you need to routinely evaluate yourself as the exam date approaches. Monitor the percentage of completion of the syllabus vis-a-vis the exam date. So you test yourself, how far have you gone? You need to appreciate the level of completion of the topics allocated in the given subject. Avoid spotting for a given subject. If you are preparing for the exam, my advice would be avoid spotting. Why? Because when you spot, you can actually get disappointed if the examiner outspots you out. Make early preparations to avoid stress during exams. This is very common, especially for colleagues who may be working. You work, you have registered for the exam, and you have done no revision at all. You have not probably attended any class. When the timetable is released, exam permit is issued, then you start thinking of studying. Before you know it, the exams have reached, and you are reading the whole night. You go for the exam, you're already dozing. Some end up taking toxic substances to stay awake. That is dangerous. You reach the exam room, and then you cannot even remember what you read in the morning. So my advice would be, for any subject you are going to be registering or preparing to sit for, you need to prepare and study it early enough to avoid stress during the exams. Actually, in the exam period, you need to be as free as possible. Have enough sleep. Take coffee, rest enough, and go for the exam when you're fresh. So you achieve that by preparing in advance. Prepare early enough. There are those obvious disorganization which may come, disorder during the exam. So you need to safeguard against such by understanding the exam requirements early enough to avoid any form of disorder. During the exam process, or in the exam hall, or when you are doing the actual exams, you need to understand. You need to be very careful when you are going through the questions. When you're answering, you need to maximize marks in areas of your proficiency. Along the way, as you are preparing, as you are studying, there will be areas where you will find a lot of ease to understand, and probably you will meet some gray areas which need extra effort for you to comprehend. So be sure and be aware of such areas, so such that in the exam you can maximize the marks in areas which you have high level of proficiency. But also you don't have to ignore the gray areas. Like I commented earlier, you do not have to spot. Sometimes most of the exams tend to have compulsory questions. Understand the importance attached to the compulsory questions. Do not ignore any compulsory questions. So that was a debrief on the preparation for the exam and succeeding in the CPA course in the shortest time possible. I decided to make 3 slides for you to appreciate. Maybe just to add on that is that you need to understand what I can emphasize, the benefits on the intents of pursuing the course, the benefits of acquiring this course. First of all, at the end of this course, you are going to get the CPA designation, and that alone accords you respect. And you see, in life, it is made up of society. So if you are going to identify yourself with a certain group of people who are regulated, who are disciplined, in other words, who are subject to a disciplinary process, so definitely your output will be expected to be of quality. So people out there are waiting for accountants to provide solutions. And the accountants are not manufactured in an overnight. You are the one, you are the next accountant. On a daily basis, as you are working, imagine yourself as the next accountant in whatever corporate institution around you. Accountant or providing business solutions. So we cannot provide business solutions if we have not prepared ourselves well. As you are preparing for these exams, bear in mind that you are pursuing a lifetime course. A course, once you have achieved it, you are going to use the knowledge for the lifetime. That's what I mean. And you are getting the skills which you are going to be applying out there. The community is ready, waiting for us to offer solutions. And the other advice would be is that as you prepare, please, I encourage you to understand the concepts, to appreciate them, avoid cramming. You may pass, but please, have you understood? Endeavor to understand whatever you'll be preparing for, because in one way or another, you'll catch up with it in the field. And in the field, it is now not theory. It's about what is practical. If you are going to advise the client, and then the client ends up telling you, but I think this thing has changed. This tax law has changed. I think the treatment should be this. And then you're a tax advisor, for instance. So you feel like you want to bury yourself out of the earth. So what am I trying to communicate? Please, as we prepare, we want to pass, yes, but also we need to understand. These are the things we need to appreciate ask yourself, can I be able to explain maybe to my grandmother accounting and she understands? Take an example. Can I be able to explain tax to someone who ended in P7 and person appreciates the role of the tax policy? So I wish you all the best. Those were my few remarks. Over to you, Godfrey.
Thank you, Stephen. That was very, very good of you. You deserve a standing ovation, and I'm clear in my head that you have been given that standing ovation by the participants. Thank you, thank you, thank you once again. Stephen largely touched on some very important and wonderful words that you may have think about as you pursue this course, ladies and gentlemen. There was something about strategy. You must pursue a strategy. You must understand what you are studying. You know you will be doing exams, and exams are exams, you know, so you prepare. You must have an intention to pursue the course to a conclusion, and therefore there will be benefits. Thank you, Stephen. I think that can ably summarize all the things you've said. I will be sending this presentation to the students. They are free to hang it somewhere in their sitting room, in their reading room, or in the bedroom. When they wake up, they should look there. They should actually be motivated because you were able to finish this course in a record time, and you did not have the books like you mentioned. Thank you so much. I think we are progressing very well. I want at this moment to ask everybody who is in here to be a little more actually attentive, because I'm going to ask the 8th president of the Institute, CPA Frederick Chibedi, to address us, and he's at liberty to go ahead and launch this scholarship program. As you were presenting, a few questions started coming through, and I think Frederick is at liberty to look at those questions and also be able to help to answer some of the questions as he proceeds with his speech. So at this moment, let me call upon CPA Frederick Chibedi to address us.
Thank you very much, Godfrey, for the invitation and for introducing me. Ladies and gentlemen, especially those that have been invited to this particular webinar as guests meaning those that qualified onto this launch, the second launch. I would like to welcome you to ICPA-U and to recognize the effort of the Secretariat. I also want to recognize the presence of council members here. I've seen some in the room. I want to recognize the presence of tuition providers. At least one Gloria Trice will never miss these kinds of briefings, and I want to thank you very much. I'd like to recognize the effort of the schools and the tuition providers, the people that make the training of the professional accountant trail. I'd like to recognize our keynote speaker, CPA Stephen Mucherule. I am only disappointed that he did not say that I taught him. That's the benefit which teachers have in this thing. But thank you so much. We're very proud of you, and particularly very proud of you for the achievement that you have made and the enthusiasm that you have shown. You showed this very enthusiasm in class, asking questions and asking for the practicality of the things that we are saying. And I want to encourage you students who have gotten this scholarship to take a very big leap from Stephen. I mean, finishing the course in the shortest time possible does not just require an accident or a miracle to happen. Miracles do happen, yes, but we don't want a miracle professional, a professional who would answer a question and everybody wonders how they made it. We want a practical professional, a professional that will be able to deal with the issues as they are. As you might really notice that the profession has really greatly changed, and COVID has changed so many things about the profession, including the things that initially we relied on. We relied on presence for a very long time. We relied on evidence that we saw with our own eyes. We relied on meeting with people. And all these things have really now changed. We didn't rely so much on automation. Automation has now come in. And therefore, it means that the challenges that the professional accountant faces also are many. Before COVID-19 in 2019, people were talking about a disruption, that there was a digital disruption that was coming. Little did we know that that disruption was actually going to be fast-tracked by a pandemic and inevitably put us in a position where we must work from home, we must work less hours, we must show output rather than presence, because those days you showed up at work every day of the week and you are there 5 days during the week and people know you're working. Now you stay home, but you must demonstrate and show a result that you're actually working. This is what has changed in the profession. And so for that reason, it requires you who is preparing for this qualification to think of new skills that you must take along. And I think this does not only apply to the people who won this award, it applies to everybody listening to me, that we need new skills, skills that are going to put us at the forefront of delivering the service for which we are trained. Those skills are digital skills, analytical skills, skills that are problem solving, risk analysis and risk management, and making sure that we're able to navigate the future with the current persons that we have. This is very important, and probably there's nothing as more important for a professional accountant as that. But the skills, the number crunching skills, yes, are very important now, but what is happening with those skills is that they've been taken over by the digital revolution, that you have everything digitized, you have the data, you have the big data with you, and all you need to do is to be able to navigate that data and appreciate and help everybody else appreciate what that data is about. How are you able to tell the story from the numbers? I think going forward, the Public Accountants Examinations Board is going to focus itself on making sure that those new skills are properly examined and tested, and that people are able to continue to fly the flag of the profession high. There will be instances where there will be quacks, people who want to masquerade as professional accountants. The first thing that should weed them out is our quality. The quality of the work that we deliver in itself should be able to show that somebody has trained and is a professional and the other is not. But where they successfully masquerade and they dupe the public, we have the long arm of the law, which we have not wavered in these last 3 years to bring. We have not tired to bring it out and to make sure that they are completely on the run. And we will not stop doing that until everybody who is in our space is cleaned out. And that is a promise that the council that I led and continue to lead, and the councils that are coming after me are actually going to pursue without missing words. Now, ICPA is positioned in such a manner that the country is well fed with professionals. And this is the reason why we're paying attention to this training. Now, to you students who have won this award, it's very important to know that you're now joining a global profession. By the way, it's the only profession in the world that has global standards, that you find a professional in Uganda behaving the same way as one in Australia, following the same and adhering to the same standard as one in Russia, as one in the US. It's the only profession. If you look at lawyers, doctors, they don't do these things. Each one of them prescribe their own standards according to their jurisdiction. So joining a global profession with a global standard with a global etiquette, with a global code, with a global experience, and with global opportunities. It's the only profession where everybody else needs them. There is nobody, no profession in the world where you go to a market, they need them. You go to a hospital, they need them. You go to a military installation, they need them. You go to the State House, they need them. You go to the Ministry of Finance, they will need you. Everywhere you go, you will need an accountant. Not only now, but also in the future. And the reason why it's so is because we are the one who possess the skills that hold organizations together to be able to do business. And every organization is actually making some kind of difference in the life of a human being, and this is the reason why it's very relevant. So you've joined a very noble profession. You're joining a very global and opportune profession, which you should not take for granted. Along the way in your preparation, and Stephen, I'm glad he hinted on it, do not cram and do not try to spot. Rather, try to understand. Because by so understanding, you're going to pass the real exam. You not only pass the exam that is set by the Public Accountants Examinations Board of ICPAU, but you'll pass the real life exam. The real life exam has questions which calls on whether you as a professional are able to solve those problems. And that's the exam that you should aim at passing. Passing it in 2.5 years is no big miracle if you actually have planned very well, and which is what Stephen actually also touched. You know, you have 24 hours in a day. Every one of us has 24 hours in a day. 8 of those hours is given to sleep. There is also another 8, which is given to work. You report at 8 and leave at 5. But many people cannot account for where the other 8 hours disappear to. The hours that you spend traveling in jam rather than avoiding it, and avoiding it means leave early, leave home early, leave at 5. If leaving at 7 is going to cause you to be in town at 10, why don't you leave at 5 and save those hours? The hours that you spend discussing matters sometimes which don't really matter with colleagues and friends, you spend them in discourse. You need to move in an organized way. Sometime back, I gave the experience of, I never went to discourse myself when I was young, but I used to see my colleagues who used to go to discourse. They put in a lot of energy, they sweat, they bring out all sorts of skills, and they use a lot of energy. And that energy, yes, it's good, you have expensed it, you have expended it, but you have remained in the same place. And yet, if you look at equally able-bodied young men who are on a military parade, they'll move from here to Sunday, they go to Namgongo, they go to Old Kampala in an organized manner, one direction, with one commander, with one step at a time, they're organized. So as you approach this program, approach it not like a person going for a disco, but one who is going for a parade, because anyway, that's the profession. The profession means that we have one way of doing things, and that way we can be able to be compared one with another. So I want to thank you very much and congratulate you again for winning this very important award. 187 candidates you were, but out of those only 10. Let me also remind you that it's not the first time that you have won. I've actually argued that a human being who is born a winner, because from the very time that they were conceived, they have been winning. And so you can win this again, and you can actually do us proud. The materials are there. I won't want to go through what Stephen has said. You know why you're doing that particular course unit. You know the course objectives. Understand them. Understand the examiner seeks to understand whether you have understood those course objectives, and that you don't have teachers, you have facilitators, people who are going to help you cover your journey. And indeed, the Secretariat too is positioned in such a manner that it should help you cover that journey. I wish to congratulate you. And with these very few remarks, I would like to declare the second cohort of sponsorship for the ICPA-U now launched. I'm told the names are now on the screen. Would have had an opportunity, in the first one, we had an opportunity to speak with each one of them and give us the expectation. But congratulations to these wonderful people, 5 male and 5 female from those universities. And we hope you continue to show the way for others to be able to succeed with the pursuance of this profession, noble profession. I say all this for God and my country. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for those wonderful words. Indeed, we've clapped for you within our hearts because the times demand so. Since we are not together, we cannot put together our hands, none will hear each other. But we are very grateful. Thank you for the launch. And as you said, the successful applicants are on the screen. There are 4 ladies and 5 gentlemen. The first cohort had 5 ladies and 5 gentlemen, and I want to encourage the ladies to continue to really compete, and because you really competed, and there you are. I know we are now going to the Q&A, but before we do that, I would want there are some council members who are in there. Can they say hello to us before we go into Q&A? Zach, make it possible, and the council members go on screen and say hello to us.
I think there's Josephine Osia. I've seen Josephine Osia somewhere.
Yeah, I've been told there's Josephine Osia and probably some others.
There's Josephine Osia, Gloria Tuhaise.
Yes.
Engineer Jackson.
Engineer Jackson Owangizi.
I think I've also heard Derek Nkaja somewhere.
Yes.
President, we have some good news from Glory Consultants and Professional Trainers Limited. We are going to allow Gloria to announce her offer as far as this scholarship is concerned. If we can allow her to speak.
Hello, this is Engineer Jackson. Can I say hi to everyone listening?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm happy to be here and be part of this inauguration. I thank you all for the good work we are doing, and I congratulate the applicants who are very successful. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer. Thank you for the support, as always.
So Josephine Osia here. Can I speak?
All right.
Yes,
please.
So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, ICPAU, for organizing this. It's a very great initiative. And I also would like to just congratulate the successful applicants and for them not to take this lightly. And I think Stephen has done quite a good job at briefing them. And thank you, Stephen. Applicants, this is a good opportunity. Get hold of it and run with it. You'll never regret. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Josephine.
Hello, can I be heard?
Yes,
yes,
Gloria,
you can
be heard.
Yeah, sorry, my network went off briefly. Good evening, everybody, and congratulations to the winners. You went through a very thorough process. And I had sent to John, I thought it wasn't for here, but yeah, for the ladies who won the scholarship, we are going into Women's Day, and of course, I already see unfairness because the men are more. But where the ladies, I'd like to offer at Glory Consultants, we would like to offer a free tuition for you. And I, as a professional coach, I'd like to offer you dedicated professional coaching and mentoring through your journey so that you can achieve your dreams.
From the president, I can see clapping. Thank you, Gloria, for the support to the ladies who have won the scholarship. They've had for themselves. If they don't know where you are, where Gloria, where the institute
I'll type
is,
my number. I'll type my number in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please check the number of the chat. But if you get lost at the institute, we are ready to guide you. Is there any other person? Okay, I think let's move ahead. We are now going into the Q&A session. We have the press in this session. Probably they have questions, and any other person who has a question, this is the time. It's an open session.
Therefore, you can check in Q&A.
There are quite a number of questions in Q&A. I think one has been ably answered. Charlotte Ninsima had asked, how has COVID changed the accounting profession? Is there some bit of automation? Of course there is. If not, where are the challenges? What kind of skills should an accountant of tomorrow have? How do you navigate with quack accountants? Maybe I had the president answer that question, but he could have something to say about it after. The next question is on PET by John Muyobo. Does practical experience training include past working experience or only experience as and when you've started studying CPA? John Bosco, I think you answer that. Mase Orishaba is appreciating, but asks that she had already done paper 1. Would she get a refund? John, you will answer that. Rachel is asking, I wanted to find out which sitting will the scholarship begin, March 2021 or June sitting? John, you'll answer that. Julius Businge of the Independent says, when does school for these beneficiaries begin? Also, that goes to John. David Mujuni from Campus B. Can we have the names of the winners displayed back on the screen? Zachary, can you put back the winners on the screen? Alex Chisache is thanking for the opportunity. He's also asking about incurred costs, whether they would be refunded. I think to begin with, those are the questions. Can we provide the answers? Starting with John.
Thank you, Godfrey. I'll begin with the practical experience training. The practical experience training you record when you start, because you have a mentor at a place of work. And this is verifiable experience. If it is past experience, there will be challenges of verifying. So as soon as you get employment now and you have started the course, that is the experience we shall count. We are not going to go back. And the experience to become a member, you need to have practical experience of 3 years. We have 7 technical areas and 3 non-technical areas. So as a student, you are required to report your experience in only 3 of the technical areas and all the non-technical areas. Once you get into the photo, you will be able to see the details of the technical and the non-technical areas. Somebody is asking, has already passed financial accounting, has already started the journey. I think we are going to pick the journey from now onwards, going forward. What you have, you are not going to say, I have university degree, what happens? Where we find you is where we move forward. We even had somebody on the first cohort who had moved as far as level 2. So we moved with him from where he was. When does tuition begin? The tuition begins now, and we expect you to sit your first exam in June. Remember, you have 2.5 years. Don't delay. Start now and sit the first exam in June. Is there another question I have not answered?
I think you've covered all. Thank you. I don't see any questions.
Mr. Nema, there's one question that came in.
Godfrey, there was a question.
There's a question that came in from social media. They were asking, when will the scholarship program for the year 2021 start? When can they apply for that?
Oh. I thought John had covered that, but he can repeat for purposes of understanding.
Yeah, we expect the beneficiaries start their tuition now and be ready for the June exams. If they are not ready, they can start in August, but would expect an ideal candidate to sit the first exam in June. Somebody was asking whether it is March. For March, that one is out because you have not started, and the registration is closing in 2 days. So the first exam for you, the beneficiaries, is June, except that one who said was already on the course and maybe was studying. But the others, we expect to start in June. There is somebody who asked about the criteria. What was the criteria of selecting beneficiaries? The criteria were looking at, one, the class of the degree. We said upper second or first class. Then we're also looking at the CGPA, and we're awarding marks according to the CGPA. We put it in bands. Then there was an essay. Each student wrote an essay. We marked it and gave marks and combined what came from the transcript and what was from the essay. And then the top 10 students got the scholarship. Over to you, Director of Ceremonies.
Thank you, John. As we wait for the second set of questions, probably I have this also clarification to make. When you look at the list of beneficiaries, universities are abbreviated. So please, I need to clarify on the abbreviations for the press. You will realize that there are 5 slots for MUK, that represents Mucherule University, Kampala. So when you have 5 awardees from Mucherule University who qualified, you have KYU representing Chambogo University, and we have 3 awardees. You have UCU, which I think is very clear, Uganda Christian University with 1 awardee, and KU represents Kabale University with 1 awardee. I wish to say that 12 chartered universities participated, and you have 4 universities that qualified. I want to ask the students to go ahead and register beginning now. And like John clarified, you will be having your first sitting in June 2021. Thank you. If you have a question and you can ask it, you can unmute and ask. The kind of questions that I see in the system are questions that have been asked, probably needing some bit of clarity. But otherwise, I don't seem to see new ones. And therefore, I'm compelled to look at the hour and see how we are performing. It's 6 minutes past 4, and I think we have done extremely well. I wish to probably, I don't know whether the president has anything else to say to close us off, especially that the students always like to hear his very exciting remarks about studying, him being a teacher, a president, an accountant, a preacher, name it. So, Mr. President, you could close us off, and we call it an evening.
I think it all has been said. The questions that have come through the chat demonstrate enthusiasm on the part of those that are embarking on this program. There will also always be the interest of the journalists on what is happening, how much are you putting to this. I think those are going to be answered. But very importantly, I think the combination of both the mentorship, the student, the tutorship, and the institute is a very important one. And we can't wait to have this people on board and continue to make our space cleared, and we have the right people in those spaces. Thank you again, and good evening.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank all of you for participating, for sparing your time to be part of us. I want to assure you that we are on the right trajectory. Somebody is asking what prompted this initiative of the scholarship. I must say that the Institute also participates in this country's corporate social responsibility. And it is our responsibility actually to train accountants, have very good accountants. So we were prompted to start this initiative because we want to bring on board people who are capable. We want to bring on board people who will do great things for this country, especially so if they belong to a prestigious profession like the accountancy profession. On the number of increasing the number of beneficiaries, you will realize that we gave 10 beneficiaries last year. We have given 10 beneficiaries this year. That's incremental. In 10 years, we will have 100 beneficiaries, but we are sure that about 4 cohorts should have finished, and that's how we intend to increase. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, Stephen, for that exciting presentation. I'm going to share it with the students. Thank you, Mr. President, for gracing the occasion. Thank you, everybody. May you have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.